Interesting one here from Carlos Fit NYC, and I know you touched upon this topic on this past Heavy Muscle Radio, and that is about Big Ramy because there is the narrative now, and we've heard other media outlets in bodybuilding, other personalities in bodybuilding talk about Big Ramy as the representative of the sport, as Mr. Olympia, and whether he's doing a good job or not. Well, Carlos Fit flat out comes out and says that he's not representing the sport well. No YouTube workouts, seminars, not really much on Instagram. So I'm going to ask you to give your flat opinion on this. But then also, if you were advising Ramy now as a two-time Mr. Olympia, what would you be telling him as far as how he should be carrying himself given the age that we live in as far as social media and as far as the way he could be putting himself out there?
Right. I think Ramy's problem is that Ramy takes everything very personally. And look, I haven't talked to him about this. I'm just speculating here. I think Ramy is affected by what people say about him. And I think that he feels like if he remains kind of anonymous for most of the year, that he doesn't have to deal with social media and allow it to affect his mind and his mindset of what's going on. So Dorian did that back in the day. There was no social media when Dorian was competing, but you would never see him. Maybe at a guest posing here and there, but he would lock himself into his gym and temple, and all he did was focus on the Olympia. Now I don't know if that's what Ramy's doing. I think Ramy is just avoiding social media, except for the fact that he has to promote whatever brands that he's being sponsored by. Is it good for the sport? No, of course it's not. As Mr. Olympia, we want to see him out there. We want to see him talking. We want to see him, giving us his insights into what he's doing training-wise and eating-wise and keeping us. We want to follow his life, right? That's why we like watching the Kardashians, It's because it makes us kind of live vicariously through them. I mean, we all, as bodybuilders, want to be Mr. Olympia in the back of our mind someplace. And if we can't be Mr. Olympia, we at least want to see what Mr. Olympia is doing with himself, right? So, is it good for the sport? No. Is it good for Ramy? Probably, because I think that it's probably keeping Ramy focused and preventing him from looking at the negative aspects of what's going on and dealing with, trolls online and people who everyone has an opinion on him. So from a perspective of historically speaking, Ramy's doing the right thing for Ramy. It's just not helping our sport. Now, look, Ramy's got to do what's good for Ramy at the end of the day, because he knows what works for him and what doesn't. I don't think he's purposely avoiding, going on social media, doing these things because he hates the fans. I think he just knows that it's not good for his head.